welcome. This is episode 7 of the Perspective Podcast. We have the beautiful Janira.
Yes,
Janira.
We're starting that over. We got to start that over.
No, it's okay. Leave it like
okay.
that.
All right.
Very
and
authentic,
Kerenyamil.
Ooh,
Kerenyamil.
Yeah, that's right. There
Love
we go.
it.
Now, these women, if you guys don't know, these guys are bosses. They run their own businesses. They help a lot of people feel confident, and they got some beautiful stories, beautiful minds. And I think you guys are really going to value this podcast today. So stay tuned, and remember to leave any comments below. Okay. So let's start off. Let's have these ladies kind of tell us a little bit about what they do, their businesses, and what it means to them and why they got started.
Woo.
So which one wants to go first?
Me.
Me? Okay.
Okay, so I have a store in Buckland Hills Mall. So it's like a one-stop shop. I would say I have a little bit of everything. I always wanted to have a store that you could just go in there, and I would say I call it a store, but it's an experience. I feel like, I bond with my, I would say my little, I don't know, they're like family to me. They're not even my customers. They walk in and it's more than just buying an outfit. Is a lot of us carry so much throughout the day, like being a mom, trying to balance life, and sometimes you just like, I feel like retail therapy is a thing, and it just makes it so much better when you actually have somebody that's there to listen to you. So for me, I just feel like when my girls walk in, it's like, like I have all the energy, like I'm so happy to see them, and it's genuine. Like, they're sometimes they walk out with nothing, and I'm still blessed because I do that connection, and there's sometimes they just want to vent to someone that is not judging them, and I just feel like, I don't know, K-Bars is an experience, but we sell clothes.
Oh my God!
Yes.
What an answer! That was fire.
Yes, and you did ask how I started. So I would say, I always wanted to do this, but I feel like the fear and having a background that nobody had their own business, it was always so much fear. And let's be real, I didn't have the money. So I feel like, I was a young mom. I had my son at 21. I was kind of like, trying to just live paycheck to paycheck. And that was really what I was doing, and just being focused on like raising him. And I never really saw, it was always like one of those dreams that it's like, you really don't know if it's really gonna happen. So I always like dreamed, and I worked in retail store being an associate, and every job that I had, I always got promoted, and that was such an accomplishment to me. But it was a real awakening when I was giving so much to a specific company, and then when I wasn't performing how they thought I should be performing, they just treated me like I was just a number. They told me, just so you know, you're anybody's replaceable, and that really hit me so hard because the whole year I was just giving them exactly like way more than what they were expecting, and I just never felt so small in my life. But I do appreciate you, Tiffany. You really pushed me to quit that job. So wherever you are, if you're watching me, thank you. I needed to hear that. Sometimes you need someone to really tell you, like, you're just a number, like tell you the truth, because that's what it was. I really felt like I was more than that. Like, people really did appreciate me, but these companies are just like, finessing you to really get to for you to do what they want you to do. And the moment you're not good, they will replace you. So for me, I just feel like I was pregnant with my third child, and I was like, you know what? Like, I sent an email, and I was like, like, I'm human, even though you're my boss. The way you talk to me, like, I never felt so small in my life. So I sent an email. I didn't have a plan B, but I just knew I needed to get out of there. And then I was pregnant. I was probably like 3 months pregnant, and that was a risk, but I was willing to take that risk because it's like I was just like, I just can't do this anymore. I can't continue to tell like always be so miserable and say I want change and not really make the change. And even though all the odds was against me because I was 3 months pregnant, I went, and I just thought banking was a good idea, and it was at the time. and I went into banking. I didn't even tell them I was pregnant because I felt like I was going to be discriminated. And I was just started the job. I did my training. I didn't show until like 6 months. And then I was like, hey, like I'm pregnant. And, I had my baby. I went on a maternity leave and I didn't get paid, which that was rough times. But, I went back to work at 6 weeks. My son was just 6 weeks old, but I needed to get that money, and to pay my bills. And then after that, I feel like everything was meant to happen for me to be where I'm at, because I learned the retail area and I learned the banking area, and I'm able to manage my own business and everything. God will never make mistakes, so I feel like everything was just meant to be at the right time. So I'm just so happy. So
Got it. I love it. Let me just ask another.
That was great.
Right? Yes. Let me just ask another little question. So why K Barbs? Why fashion?
Oh,
why
yeah. I'm glad
clothing?
you
Why
asked.
all that?
So as you were struggling a little bit to introducing me, right? My name is Kerenyamil.
Oh, snap.
Yes. But you did better than most. So all my life, since I moved from Puerto Rico here, everybody kind of struggled with my name. So I feel like in my retail world, everybody's like, we're just going to call you the Latin Barbie. And then when I created my Instagram, that was a thing, my Latin Barbie 27. I'm still that girl. So I feel like when it came to me starting my business, I'm not just a retail store. I'm your stylist. I'm very honest with my girls. I don't want you to walk out of my store and then have an item that you're like, oh my God, I look horrible. So I'm your stylist. I'm your therapist. I'm everything. So I felt like K stands for my name, which is Getting, and my Barbies. I get to dress them up. I get to, that was just it. It took me so long to even come up with the name, because I came up with so many different names, but that one just felt right. I'm like, that's my brand. I am a stylist, and so Keren's Barbies. So that's
right.
K Barbs.
And let's make sure we settle the score right now. Kerenyamil.
Kerenyamil. Okay. Now you acting out, Kerenyamil.
Is that it?
Yeah, it really is.
Snap.
Yeah.
Let's get it. Remember that. Write that down. Don't mess up.
Kerenyamil. Get it
Don't
right.
mess up. And then Janira.
Roll the R.
Janira. Let's settle the score on that one as well.
Yeah.
All right. I want to get a little bit of background about your business too. Now, those who may not know, you have a fitness business, correct? Yes. How'd you get started with that, and why?
So yes, health and fitness coach. To be honest, in the past I would have called it, I stumbled upon it by mistake, but obviously as a believer, I am definitely clear that was something that God had placed in my heart and ordered me to do. I came from a background of kind of having to rebuild myself, my confidence, just my excitement for life, and creating this new perspective of coming out of past trauma and stuff. And it was just a point in my life where I had hit rock bottom. I had gotten out of a really terrible relationship. I had already had my first daughter at 21 as well, Keren. And she changed my life. My mission was that I was going to give her a different life than what I came from. And in that process, like I said, I had hit rock bottom. I was a single parent, but I had been dating someone at the time, and that relationship failed. And then I actually had gotten laid off from a really good state job that I had. So I was not in a good place at all. And I spent a lot of time just trying to figure out what I could get, what I could create to become a hobby or get addicted to that wasn't going to harm me in the long run. And that's when I fell in love with, which I then found out history. My father was a very athletic person. He was an athlete. So I think it was already rooted in me. I hadn't known that yet. But I just grew this love for fitness and just this awareness of the things that I was putting in my body that weren't making me feel good, that weren't helping me to just grow in any aspect. So I started spending a lot of time during that time that I was laid off, training at the riverfront here in Hartford, Connecticut. And I just started posting videos of me doing creative routines that I didn't think was gonna matter to anybody, but I kind of did it for accountability purposes, posting on my social media that I'm here, I'm doing this, and it was just kind of like keeping me motivated and, you know, in the right direction, I would say, than to rely on something else to cope with what I was going through. And I started posting those videos, and all of a sudden I just started getting messages from women saying, like, I want to join you. How much would you charge me? And as silly and simple as that sounds, I at first was thrown off by it. So I'm like, I am not a professional. Like, I haven't been doing this. Like, what do you mean? And then it just took off, where I just had like a large group of women meeting me at the riverfront to do these classes. And it was for fun at first. And then I realized, like, okay, I'm not working. I love what I'm doing with this. Maybe this could go somewhere. And I just took a leap of faith, and I just told myself, I'm going to try to go in that direction and see where this goes. And I got this like feeling within myself that I was serving a greater purpose, because I was touching women that were feeling the same way I was when I was lost, when I was hurt, when I was damaged, when I didn't know what to do for myself, going through the worst, you know, situations in life. And I found through fitness and just eating better and taking care of my overall health, mentally, spiritually, physically, that I was becoming a better person by putting that first. And then it turned into me showing other women how to do the same. And so I got, my first experience was working at LA Fitness in South Windsor. And that's where I pretty much gained all my experience. And then one day I realized, so here's a funny story. I didn't realize I got pushed out the door. I started posting my creativity, even with the equipment and the machines that were at the gym. And my boss came to me one day and said, I found your social media, and I'm seeing what you're doing, and it's great stuff, but I need you to make a decision. You either have to become a fitness coach here with us, or you're going to have to go, because it's not, I guess, going with the guidelines that they wanted, with me being that I was working there.
Now
because
you're getting
people
kicked out of the gym.
people were coming
That's
to
crazy.
me. People were coming to me and asking why they couldn't train with me than the actual coaches that were at LA Fitness.
Intimidation.
That's so dumb to me.
So he offered me a position.
Gotta fix that shit. Hold up.
Okay.
All right. Yes, sir.
So he came to me and he presented me the two options, and then I said, okay, so what would you be willing to pay me? And at the time he said $15 an hour. And I don't know if you guys can imagine how much LA Fitness actually charges each person to do personal training there.
It's like $50, isn't it? Something like that?
No. It would be like 2 30-minute sessions for like $250.
Holy crap.
Okay, that was at that time. I can't imagine what it is now. That was 7 years ago.
That's crazy.
I've
Okay.
never been on LA Fitness.
Yeah. So
They're fancy over there.
so I prayed on it. At the time I talked about it with my husband, and I just said, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I feel like God has been tugging at my heart to tell me to take this leap of faith and do something on my own that I could do better for myself than what, like she said, being employed by someone else. And I don't shame that in any way. There's a lot of people that have wonderful jobs working for someone else.
Right.
But some of us don't feel fully satisfied with that. And not everyone can appreciate what we have to offer. And I didn't feel like I was worth $15 an hour. I feel like my material was much more than what they were teaching their coaches there.
Right.
So I decided to take that leap of faith, and let me tell you, it's been a journey, a lot of highs and lows, but I don't regret it one bit. It's been a wonderful, wonderful, just chance I took on myself, and I thank God for allowing me to be able to do that, and just guiding me along the way. So.
Sheesh. I don't know. So like I know you guys a little bit behind the scenes, behind the camera, and I feel like you guys have so many correlations, as to like what made you who you are, and then why you guys have such a strong friendship. You know what I mean? I feel like when pressure was applied, you know what I mean, you guys were forced to make a decision to believe in yourself.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? I just want to know like where that belief came from. Do you think it was just simply the pressure? Do you think like you always had that belief in you? Where did that belief come from?
Honestly, and I know it was God. I feel like I always had a dream But to really believe it, I felt like there was a time in my life that I felt like I felt really depressed. I felt like I had a bigger purpose, and I feel like I wasn't like doing what that purpose was. So I almost felt like, what am I doing here?
Unfulfilled. Yeah.
Why am I waking up? Like it's just I hit like a really dark place, and I was just like almost like, okay, so I started getting like really like I started praying about it, because I just, I grew up in church, and I do understand like depression and having negative thoughts is not, the norm, so I felt like, like I got to be heavy on prayers. I'm a mom, like my kids need me. I need to be in the, like, and I almost felt like I was being ungrateful as well, because I'm like, okay, some people don't have jobs. Some people, my kids are healthy. They have a roof over their head, but I also knew like that wasn't it. Like there was, I also needed to feel fulfilled. Like I wasn't just a mom, that's all I felt like I was. I was just working for somebody else, and I was just a mom. And I felt like that wasn't really fulfilling me. And I started praying really heavy. And I would just wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning every single day for a really, really long time. And I couldn't really understand what that was. And I started getting ideas, and I started writing it in a notebook. It was almost like
there's an actual thing about writing it down. It comes to pass.
Yeah, I started writing it in a notebook.
Yeah.
I would be at work. I was really savage, telling my coworkers, saying, I'm not gonna be here for a long time. Even like speaking into assistant, I came up with my name with while I was at work. I was like, it's gonna be K Bars. I wrote it in a little like bank paper, and they would look at me, and I would just be like, you guys could fight for all these positions. I'm not gonna be here for a long time. And they would look at me and just smile. They knew too. They always told me, Karen, you just need to be somewhere else. They knew. And I feel like for a really long time, people really believed in us before we even believed in ourselves. So I do appreciate everybody that ever told me. Does. I really do love everybody, and I do appreciate everybody that really always told me, Karen, you don't belong here. Like I knew, but I just, it's the fear of failing. And also I feel like it's really important to mention that I did start it in 2020. And I feel like when COVID and all that craziness was happening, I feel like I didn't have the fear, because in my mind I'm like, I don't know what's going on. We all gonna die. And I felt like, honestly, like if people had expiration date.
Now's the time to take the risk.
No, for real. I feel like, honestly, if everyone knew their expiration date, they would do things with no fear. And I felt like I was feeling like there was some sort of expiration date. So I said, oh my God, it's either now or never. So cool. that was really my thing. But also I was broke. So let's be honest. I was broke. I was like, oh my God, of course I have the faith. I'm praying. I have the idea, but we also need the income. So it happened that, I was just like, okay, I have $1,000 that I could kind of invest, which I did. I got a few samples. I posted it. People bought it. And I kind of like just, turn it around. But then I needed to really bring K-Bars to the next level and start a real business, I would say,
because it was a website.
Yes,
first,
it's a website. And then for me, it happened that I had a car accident 3 years prior to that, and I forgot about it. It was going, and I was going through my physical therapy. But in 2020, when I said, okay, God, I only got $1,000, what are we doing with this? It happened that my lawyer called me, they settled, and I had the paycheck that I was crazy. Was not even expecting, and I was able to invest in my business. And when I'm telling you, God does not make mistakes, and he really comes for you at the right time. That was really what happened for me. And that's really my story with K Barbs. And
I agree with her. There's a lot of different forms of how God gives you confirmation. Mm-hmm. And I think along the way, it, but then when the other people around you know it too, it gives you that confidence to say, okay, right. I know that you're sending me this message, Lord. I know that you're asking this of me, because it's one of those things that's just so obvious in your face. You're like, if this wasn't supposed to go this way, if this isn't meant to be, then these particular events and these people sending you messages wouldn't be happening. And it kind of encourages you to say, okay, well, I already believe in myself, but now I have other people that believe in me too. It does help. And like she said, I want to thank the people. For me, it started with my my stepfather who raised me since I was a baby, and my husband. As crazy as this sounds, I have a woman-based business, and those two men were the ones that believed in me.
Right.
And I started my gym out of my dad's basement. And he is a contractor, so he legit just like did his whole basement over, didn't care that it had nothing to do with him, made me a gym, and it took off from there. And just that feeling of people believing in you, right? Mm-hmm. It was just one of those things where it was like, how is this not a message from God? Right. Like everything is speaking to me and making me feel like what I already felt within myself, it had to come to fruition. It has to happen. And but also another thing she mentioned, your whole life changes when you have a child. That perspective for me was the biggest thing that pushed me, and just in general. I was going through so much, and the last thing I wanted to do was feel like I settled, and I was going to repeat and give my child the life. I wouldn't say the life that I came from, because I changed a lot of things, and I didn't want to repeat how I was raised, but even just how I spoke to my child, how I raised them, what I provided to them, I wanted much more than what I came from. Yeah. So that was one of my biggest pushes too. Your first child is very special to you, especially when you're young and you realize, now I have this person that is relying on me, and now it's not just about me. I have to go and provide that to them as well. So that's what I think pushed us too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like with me, as I was getting older, my son was getting older.
They're growing with you.
Yeah, and I felt like it was almost like, oh my God, when my son grows up, like I wanted him to be proud of me. Yes. And I know he would have been proud of me regardless, but I just felt like, I want him to grow up and be like, oh, my mom was a hustler. My mom really made something out of nothing. So that really pushed me even harder to be like, okay, as he's getting older, it's time for me to, to be that example that he needs. Yep. So, the first son just hits different for sure.
See, when pressure is applied, it just completely changes who you are. I want to touch up on this topic. Yeah. That you mentioned before. You said you were feeling depressed and you felt like that wasn't normal. Yeah. Right? Now, I just want to just throw in just contrasting opinion of different perspective just for a hot second. Like, I feel like nowadays, people are dealing with depression like on numbers.
It is normal now.
You know, right.
It is normal. Unfortunately,
right? Yes. Like people are out here really experiencing true depression. I was experiencing it for a little while too. Right. Do you think now that you found, like, you give all glory to like your success to God, right? Am I getting that right? Yeah. So now, since you've given your life to God, do you you ever hit those lows anymore?
I feel like I hit those lows, but not in that level, because I have full knowledge of what that is. I definitely have my lows, but I feel like
we handle them differently.
We definitely handle them different, and they don't last as long. And I just having people around you, like I have Janira, and surrounding yourself with people that like that you could talk to and vent to and relate to, really makes things even like easy. Like hard times are never gonna end. Come on, let's be realistic. Yes. But it's just how you handle it, how you your perspective for sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, hard times are like rich people go through stuff, so it's like I feel like it's really how you handle the hardships and the trials, and so
right. So
I'm more mature now too, and having the full knowledge is like, okay, I'm being tried. Like, yes, definitely.
We can acknowledge when we're being tested. Or when we're going through those trials and stuff. And
when I was younger, I had no clue. I thought I was losing my mind. I thought I was just losing it.
What do you mean?
Like, I honestly, when I was like, I would be really high, like super happy, like, and then when I hit those lows, I'm like, I must be losing my mind. And plus,
I had something's wrong.
Yeah, I thought there was something wrong with me, because I'm like, I don't understand if I was so happy last week and I'm so depressed now. I really couldn't understand that, Because it's like, that's how depression hits you out of nowhere. There's no like warning sign. There's no reasons at times. There's no reasons, right? It just comes. And, you know, like for me, I just felt like, oh my God.
Or sometimes you're not aware of your triggers.
Exactly.
Or you're not.
That,
yeah, when you're younger, you're less aware of all those
right.
things. So
That's
you're
important,
confused.
the triggers for sure.
You're thinking something's wrong with you. You're thinking, you're thinking all kinds of stuff, but none of it makes sense. And as you get older and you connect and realize why certain things are happening and what causes me to feel that way, and I guess as you mature, it just changes. And then after going through experiences where you can see God at work, and you know that even through all those storms, he still makes a way and everything ends up being okay. You have to keep that mindset, and as it continues to happen, he keeps showing you that he never fails you. So just that mindset, I had to I don't know how to put this, almost like reset my mind and remind myself that I initially am a person that, even though I struggle with this still to this day, I'm a lot better with it. Even though I know God's going to work it out, we still, as humans, we freak out.
We freak out.
Right.
We freak out. So I'm becoming more aware as an adult. You already been down. You already gone through this. Maybe not the same exact thing. You felt like this before. Yeah. You've been scared like this before. And you should know that as difficult as the situation might look like in front of you, you know it's going to be okay. So even though you can't see what God is doing, you have to tell yourself, we have to have a different mindset here. If not, we're going to spiral out of control into that depression, that negative mindset of feeling like there's no escape, and you're just, you know,
and sometimes
everything's going to go wrong. Sometimes you feel like that in life. Like nothing's going to get better. It just keeps back to back, right?
And sometimes
we've been in a season recently.
For real. We've been on a season.
She says, I say, can you pump the brakes? And she says, cut me a brake, God, here. Like, what's going on?
We're tired here.
Obviously, we know God is not always the reason why certain things are happening, but he allows it for a reason. Yeah. You know what I mean? He might not be the one making it happen, but he's not stopping it either, because there may be some purpose there in molding us and still, you know,
sometimes
teaching us something
it's
along
hard
the way.
to really like understand when things are happening. That always been my struggle. It's like, I don't understand. But
we're always trying to figure it out, and I think I've always been a control freak.
It's not for me to understand it, that part.
You want to control the situation, and you're just like, you have to learn to let go, because it's not always in your control.
Letting go, that's so important. Letting go. I have a hard time with that.
It comes with time. Yeah. And experiences.
Yeah. I definitely feel that.
Yeah.
So when you go through these hardships, right, these things that like make you feel like the end of the world, or did make you feel like it was the end of the world, what is the reason that you give that credit to God itself? Why do you think like God is what made you out of it?
Well, I feel like the only way you can know that is when you open your heart to him. He's going to show you directly. And sometimes you're not asking for anybody's help. You're not venting to anyone. You're going through it alone, and he's the only one you're speaking to. And when you're so specific in your prayer and what you're asking of him, he's going to show you exactly what you asked for. Right. And I feel like that's evidence for me. Right. That's been evidence in my walk with God, what he has done in my life, that sometimes what he does, you can't explain it, right?
Right.
Right.
You can't explain it, and even when you try to explain it to someone else, they're still not going to get it, because it wasn't for them to understand.
Right.
Woof, it was only for you to see.
Yes, right. I felt that.
I want to just add a little to that a little bit, just from my perspective, right? I feel like when stuff goes wrong, it brings you to a deeper understanding of yourself, that like it guides you to a deeper understanding of yourself, and gives you this fulfillment that there's no way that you could ever even have conceived or known yourself that well, and to know that this is what's going to give you so much fulfillment. Stuff just happens randomly, and it's just unexplainable, you know what I mean? For those who don't get it is. You know what I mean? But I definitely feel like every bit of hardship brings me closer to a deeper understanding. You know, and I think through the time as time has gone on, like I just give it all to God. Like no matter what I go through, it's always a testament of your faith. It is. You know what I mean? Like it says to be grateful for everything, even the bad stuff. You know what I mean? And that's where the test comes in. When it's hard, like if you're a Christian, if you believe in Christ, the point of our life is essentially to suffer to a degree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Walking in his shoes. Yeah.
Like as you know, as a fitness instructor, like when you put yourself through pain consistently, you refine your character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you go through a lot in life, it refines these layers that may be ethereal, not necessarily on a physical plane, but it reveals your character and it reveals who you truly are, right? And let's say you're giving glory to God to an X amount, right? And then you go through another hardship and then you no longer start giving yourself to God. Maybe you never really even believed in God in the first place. You know what I mean? I believe that, like, it's just chiseling layers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just getting down into your soul. You know what I mean? And there's a bunch of layers above that may not agree with what you're doing and all this other, like, contrasting stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's always chiseling down to our soul. Like, God's like, do you really love me? And you have to show that to yourself too. Oof. You know what I mean?
And if we don't experience all those things in life, we talked about this the other day.
Yeah.
If we did not experience all those struggles in life and just everything that life throws at you, we wouldn't have the reason to seek him. Oof. Which is building us up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And also showing us that we need to be fully reliant on him.
We would rely on our own understanding.
We would rely on our own understanding.
Right.
And then that's when everything gets crazy, because we all know
right,
that.
because we fall into temptation.
Exactly.
We fall into lust. We fall into the flesh.
Yeah, the
and
flesh.
we're taking control of where we want things to go. And we all know how that ends up.
Right. That's why, the people who experience, like, crazy stuff in their life, you know what I mean? Like, that's the way I see this is, it says it in the Bible, so it's not even really what I think, but, like, God disciplines those who he loves, and discipline comes in the form of any which way. You know what I mean? We want to conceptualize whatever it is.
Yeah.
But also another little thing I want to add in for, like, the younger viewers out there who are really having difficulty in, like, certain moments, right? With experience that we've had, that, like, I've gotten, you've gotten, we know that when things are falling apart, that's, like, almost one of our greatest blessings.
No, it is.
You know what I mean?
Something greater is coming.
Right?
Yep.
So, like, that's, like, it takes time to kind of realize that you're going to make it out of the storm, and it's not even a storm.
Right. I'm thinking about now.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything I've gone through in life, no matter what the fuck it is, I'm so happy with who I am currently.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
like,
we appreciate how
That's
those
you.
things built
You
us
needed
up.
to be laid off. I needed to be treated like garbage. You know, like, it's no,
No,
for real.
You get upset in the moment when those things are happening,
Yeah.
but it had to happen. And I think a lot of times too, like she said, if things don't make us uncomfortable, we'll stay where we are.
Yeah.
If we're not pushed out of that comfort zone, and unfortunately, that's where God is allowing those uncomfortable situations to happen. We have to go to the next level to continue serving a greater purpose. And if he doesn't make us uncomfortable, we won't go there. We'll stay where we are.
No, 100%. Sometimes we lose so much control.
Yes.
That there is no way humanly possible we could have navigated through this without God's hands.
Yep.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we can only understand to a certain degree.
Exactly.
And how we make it out, it's, like, incomprehensible.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We talk about it all the time.
Know, the only thing that explains it is him. Because there is nothing else that explains that.
Right. So, everyone who goes through stuff in life, I want you to know that you're probably way more important than you think.
Yes.
Right.
Because God makes the ones he loves.
I thought what you were
Get
going to
disciplined.
say was his strongest soldiers
No,
is the
for
one.
real?
That's what I thought the
That's-
statement you were going to make earlier.
But it's the same thing.
About the strongest soldiers are going to go through the hardest struggles.
Yeah.
Yes. That's literally
And
it.
so you should, as much as it's painful, you should feel honored that you are going through that, because you are that important.
Right. Exactly.
He's allowing you to go through those things because you serve a greater purpose.
And the way to make it out is so simple. All you need to do is just give it to God.
Give it to God.
Like, you don't need to contemplate.
Right.
You don't need to, like, just literally give it to God and let it work. Because, as it mentions in the Bible, he will speak through you. You know what I mean? You don't need to know what to say. He will give you those words. You know what I mean?
And he already knows what you're feeling.
Exactly.
You're just
He knows our hearts.
Yeah, verbalizing it to him again.
So the easiest way to gain control is to let control go.
Oof. Let go.
You know?
And how, I don't know if you guys remember the difference when you were trying to carry that all yourself.
Oof.
How heavy that was.
So heavy.
I mean, I still live in the flesh, so I still feel like I carry it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all have our struggles.
Yeah,
in
we're
different
humans.
ways.
We're still here. So.
But I can say that once you mature in your walk with God, you you can see the difference when you are putting it more in his hands than when you were trying to take that control.
Like, you know what I think? I think like some part of me makes me feel like it will never go away. You know what I mean? Because we are supposed to love God and trust God. And this might be controversial. You ready for this one? Like, you're also supposed to fear God.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because those who fear God are his friends.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we love God, we trust God.
But we gotta fear him.
Well, we gotta fear him. You know what I mean? Like, like everything could go south so quickly. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
That is really important.
It's
a lot
so
of people
crazy
try
you
to shy
say
away
that
from that, the fear part.
because with my business, I always, I'm so thankful, and I always tell people to remain humble and grateful every day for how God bless you, because just as he could bless you, he could take it away in one day.
Right.
So that's really important. Like, I fear God. Like, just as
Yes.
he gave me my
Don't
business,
forget where
my
you came
children.
from.
Yeah, he
That's
gave
right.
me my children, my health, all that. He could take it away. Like, I am so fearful.
Right.
And
Right.
so faithful.
I've actually seen numerous amount of times in the almost 8 years I've been in business, the constant reminders he sent me when I try to take the control.
Ooh.
When I start doing it my way, everything starts to crumble.
I can
Everything
relate to that.
starts to, and then I'm like, wait a minute. And I also noticed too, when he gives you a big load, can you handle still keeping him first while you're handling all the other things that he's blessed you with? There's been many a times that I've allowed those things to distract me. Having a surplus of clients, juggling the meal prep service, which I didn't talk about, but training people and doing all this stuff. He's like, you want more, but you then forget about me in the process.
Ooh, that part.
And I've been humbled many times where I believe that certain events took place because I was losing sight of keeping him first. And he just kept showing me. And like she said, he's not trying to punish you. He's just trying to keep you in check.
Right.
And
he wants you to prosper.
Yeah.
And we're stubborn.
Yeah.
As humans, we're just stubborn people.
Yeah. So, I've experienced that one too many times, and now I know, like, don't even go there.
Right.
Right.
You can't be putting him last and expecting everything to get better and grow. And you shouldn't only be doing it for that reason, but like, he is the reason why you are alive and you have what you have and you're doing what you're doing. So without him in the mix, all of that doesn't have the same purpose.
Right.
All of that is not gonna prosper the way that it needs to. So if I had to give some form of advice, is always making sure that no matter what's going on in life, that it doesn't distract you from keeping your relationship healthy and strong and doing everything you need to do to maintain it,
Yeah. My schedule was 7 days a week. It's been maybe like 7 months since I've been closing on Sundays. I'm going to church. The money could wait, because I feel like my first year, God was like blessing me, all this money just feels great. The more money you get, the more you want. And for me, I found time to do photo shoots, promote, be there for all my clients, and balance so many different things. And I always said, oh my God, but I don't have time to go to church, or I don't have, I was skipping my prayers at night because I was focused on doing designs and, getting ready for the holidays. God really had to humble me so quick.
Right.
He had to slow everything down for me to be like, okay, like, you need to get back to where you started, because my business is based on God. He blessed me with this business. So how can I forget about him? So, that's so important. Like, we're closed on Sundays. You could go back on Monday.
I love it. So I want to go. I want to talk a little bit about you guys' friendship and how you guys met and how it got like, how did it get strong?
Oh my God.
Let's talk about this.
So, okay.
First of all, we didn't even know it was happening when it was happening.
Oh my God. Can I just say oh my God. So I could speak for myself and then you do your thing, but we're literally one person. It's almost scary. I'm going to talk for myself, but I'm actually talking for the both of us. So I feel like, I'm 36 years old. Okay. So I feel like I feel like, I don't know if it has anything to do with my upbringing or anything like that, but it's definitely it. I feel like I always wanted, besides, having my own family, I always wanted that, sisterhood and that friendship, that it was like more than a friendship. It was like, like we're almost like blood. I feel like family. I felt like throughout so many years, I felt like, every time I had a friendship, it was one-sided, and I was given more than what, the person, and I never really looked at friendships as to, if I'm giving, I should receive, because I was just focused on giving so much. I really never really realized that it was just one-sided, and I was just loving too hard. It was almost like, for them, it's like, okay, relax, it's not really a big deal. But I felt
and then
like
you end up empty.
Yeah, and then I end up empty, or getting betrayed, because for me, I have all good intentions towards, these, for friendships, and I felt like people were getting close to me for the benefit of our friendships, or if I was doing something that they wanted to do, they wanted to get the inside scoop, or there were situations that I would get vulnerable with a friend and tell them about people that wanted to harm them, and they were doing bad by them, and they just questioned that I was even lying, and it was just so many different things that I was going through, with friendships, and I felt like I was legit traumatized. I felt like it got to the point that I'm like, I am not trusting anybody. All these females are the same. Like, I'm good. All I'm gonna stick to my family, and that's pretty much it.
And we were going through the same exact thing
at the same time.
We were burnt out from all of it, and we were
yeah.
we were treading carefully with each other without realizing it too.
Yes.
We knew that there was something there with us.
Yeah.
But it just happened so organically.
Yeah,
like there was
so effortless.
There was no like forceful.
No.
I think it all started, believe it or not, I'm wearing it right now.
It's so crazy.
Some workout outfits.
So can I just say, this woman right here, she did not know me.
I was going hard before I even knew her.
She did not know me. It was a girl that said, hey, you are a fitness instructor. There's a girl selling leggings.
Think you would love this line.
And this girl, not only that she bought from me, the video, like, she did a whole promo with, I didn't request anything. It was like, I'm like, oh my God, people are actually squatting in my leggings, like showing the real like quality in my leggings. And
I had no intention.
I just felt so honored, and I really didn't know her, but I was like, oh my God, this girl is so genuine, because she has no idea who I am, and she's going hard for, I felt like, no reason, because I was so traumatized. I'm like, there's no reason why she's going so hard. And for me, I just saw it as, oh my God. And I remember I had like a little dinner, and I invited her to meet with me, and then she was kind of like scared, because it's like, it's still social media, I could be like a serial killer. And then she invited,
we both brought a friend.
Yeah, we both brought a company, and then we happened to clicked, but we still didn't get close then. I feel like with time,
we just kept
we will reach out to each other like from time to time, but at first I was like, because there was like influence of certain people saying certain things about her character, that I was just like, oh my God, I don't know, versa, like I'm scared. But I like literally was God, and I know you guys probably gonna get sick and tired of it, but it was God that really connected us, because it just happened so like, effortless, and it took time, and it happened at the right time when we already healed from our past trauma, and it's just, we were so good to each other, and we really needed each other at the time that we really got close.
We still weren't even hanging out like closely. We weren't claiming to be close friends. We would call each other with things that you would normally call your best friend with,
but we
didn't even realize that we were doing that with each other. Like we were telling each other our deepest, darkest stuff. And, like, I had no doubt in my mind that was going anywhere. Right. Like, I felt safe with her. Right. And, but at the same time, we still had that nervousness of everything that we had overcome and went through with other women. I still have a few wonderful women that are still in my life. But when I tell you it's very few. Yeah. Very few. I disconnected from a lot. And to go into that, can I tell my part?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I want to make sure
you're good
with your portion. But, at that time, I was going through a lot of transition with my business, because I feel like the mistake that I made when I started my business was I welcomed everyone very like on a deep level of not setting any boundaries. I was treating everyone as if they were my friend and hoping and expecting the same in return. And that got really messy because you can only imagine the amount of clients I had. And I treated them all like friends, like family. And all of it was so pure and genuine. Many of them reciprocated it. But unfortunately, the ones that I ended up being a deeper, closer relationship that I allowed into my personal life, those all went pretty wrong. And like she said, it was that one-sided thing. Not to speak bad on them, it's just the energies didn't match, the intentions didn't match. Like I said, you know, maybe some of these people were better friends for someone else, but for what I provided and what I needed in my life, it didn't mesh. And so I was left very sad, you know, having invested so much into friendships and then feeling like people walked away with a lot of you.
Right.
And,
I feel like friendships, I don't know if you could agree, they're like very, like when you find a partner and you marry them,
it's
I
very
feel
intimate.
Like, it's very intimate, and I feel like it gotta be a match. And I feel like, you know, we're not here to bash whoever we were connected to in the past. It's more like we were not a match. We were not matching energy. We were probably in the wrong time in their life when they wasn't ready to really give their all
or receive that.
Like it just didn't work out at the time that it was. And you know, there's traumas, and there's you know, a lot of resentments that I felt like I was carrying that I didn't allow. You know, I'm so happy that I was able to, you know, let this happen fluently and just effortlessly.
We didn't even talk about it.
No, we didn't talk about it. It just happened.
It was one of those things where I just vented to her about all the things that I couldn't believe people were betraying me with, and she was doing the same thing. And then we were like, I'm done. I don't want to talk to nobody anymore.
I literally would tell her.
I don't want that.
I will never forget.
Little,
this is the most awkward thing. I was taking a shower, and she was sending me voice notes about how and I'm like, all these females are so fake, and I feel so hurt. And I remember telling her, I trust nobody, but I'm telling her I don't even trust her. But I'm like literally not even telling her except you.
But while she was telling me she didn't trust nobody, including me,
but
she was telling me things that you would tell someone you trust. So it was like, what is going? Like, we didn't even realize what God was doing. It's almost, we can't explain it.
There's no explanation.
And she's right. You have to match in a lot of areas. You don't have to be exactly. It's even like how she said, a romantic relationship. You don't have to be exactly like. In fact, certain things that are opposite attract, right? Right. But you have to be on the same frequency with a lot of, you know, how you feel about certain things, your morals, your just, it has to make sense. This is her saying.
It has to make sense.
And I'm just grateful that I just know he aligned us at the time that he did, because we went through each piece of that journey the same way. Like, there wasn't a I'm ready and you're not. Right. It just flowed. We were not ready for 2 years?
Right. 2 years, really,
literally. It was a few years. Yeah. I knew about her business. I was promoting it hard, like I knew her, and I never met her a day in my life. Right. But that's how I was. She's right. That's genuine. That wasn't me looking for anything. That was meant. But the other fact was, her clothing line wasn't like anything else that I've tried on wore and could say, like, this really doesn't move when I do a squat. Yeah. I don't think people understand how hard it is to find attire for the type of movements I do in my trainings. And I was like, oh my God, like how did I find this with a local person? Yeah. And what's that brand?
Gymshark?
Yes. And the other one, there's another one.
We don't care.
I couldn't even believe that the top brands that were worldwide known could not achieve what she found in what I found in her products. So I was genuinely telling people, like, all those Amazon pants you're buying, they don't work. You got to buy K-Barbs. Right. I didn't have intentions of trying to make her like me or be my friend. No,
it was
we
so
were literally
genuine.
like, it was also too, we both had businesses, and it was that genuine, like, woman empowerment. I'm speaking highly of another woman. She, you know, and we're helping each other grow. It was everything about us was organic. There was no, like, nothing forced. There was nothing questionable. It was always like, it just flowed.
And for me, I don't know if I ever told you this, but for me, I just feel like when it comes to a friendship, I feel like when she's not even with me, she's a representation of me. And I could, like, with my eyes closed, know that she's representing me well. Like, it's not even
You
business
are who you hang
related.
with, yeah.
It's just like literally how she is, how she handles things, her heart, her beliefs, how she is as a mother, as a person. Like, I know, like, when they see my bestie, they see me. So for me, I always dream of like, like having somebody by my side that is truly a representation of me, and I don't need to question anything and doubt anything at all. So I just feel like, and it was genuine because she legit believed in my brand before she even had to, as a best friend, tell me, oh, you're great. Like, it was for real.
And for 2 years straight, we just showed love. There was no, we're hanging out.
And what I loved about her,
like,
well, I didn't know her, but I loved how she's so like expressive, and she really is so good of, like, it's almost like she could speak for all of us. For me, I just feel like she was so transparent in her stories. So I would be like, oh my God, like, I don't just randomly tell my clients like, oh my God, I want to meet up with you and go out to eat, because that would be a lot of dates. So I just loved how, like, I'm like, oh my God, this girl really, like, the way she was express herself, and like her eyes, like how she means what she say. Like, I was like, oh my God, there's something about this girl that I'm like, she just speaks for me, and I can't get my words out, but she's like speaking for all of us. And that's really why I was like, yo, I like this girl a lot, and I would like to, get to know her. I know this sounds like a date, but it's not. It's really, I was trying to find my sister.
Listen, they say you end up finding your soulmate best friend,
yeah.
Like your soulmate and your best
it's
friend.
It's a real thing.
It's real. But anyways, I do have to say that I want to thank her.
Oh, don't get emotional.
Oh.
Ooh, Janira.
I love it.
I love you. Don't cry.
I know that God sent her to not allow me to fall as deep as I could have, and losing hope and having good relationships with people, especially women. Because we live in a world right now where everyone thinks it's cute and it's a trend to say that we're all about women empowerment and we really support each other. And really, I see the total opposite on personal level. And I'm just super grateful to feel like I could have someone during my healing journey, especially when it came to friendship, because God was healing me, but also showing me that he gave me my person in female form to support me and help me literally feel like I'm not alone with all my thoughts and the way that I move and the things that I believe in. And it's deep. I think that because, people talk so much about don't believe what is on social media, everyone's putting on a front. I'm almost positive that people have this idea in their minds that we do that for content. For we have a bestie page.
We do.
That is not something that I would ever have considered with anybody, okay? Honestly, it's a little loony. It's
a little corny.
It's a little crazy. No.
I love it.
In the best way possible.
Yeah.
It's just another piece of us, another form of us showing people like, don't lose hope with that. Yeah. Don't lose hope. This isn't I'm bragging because my friend is better than yours. This is not that BS. Yes. This is
you could find your
encouraged
person.
And do not lose hope, because there could be 10 people ahead of that person that failed you. Right. And you could see the same thing over and over and over again, but it does not mean that it will not change. It does not mean that you won't find those people.
Right.
And the reason why I get emotional and I cry is because a lot of us, we were very conflicted growing up, trying to understand why we didn't have that in the people that actually were blood to us. Mm-hmm. And you don't realize the amount of people that God actually gives you in replace of the people that didn't play the role that they were supposed to play in your life. Yes. Whether it be a mother, a sister, a cousin. And I feel like that's what that represents. My friendship with her, she's given me the sisterhood and even that motherly thing too that we lack.
Yeah.
We didn't have moms that it's a topic for another day, but we didn't have what most people probably have in their mother.
The typical mom and daughter relationship.
And so I feel like we literally lean on each other for all those pieces in life. And the fact that I could cry about it just means that that's how much it means to me, what we have established. And again, knowing that I have no fear with this friendship because I know that God is center.
Jeez.
It's
the
deep.
power on that.
Yes.
We go to church together. Like,
we
it's that
do.
serious.
Like every Sunday, we're in that church praying.
With our
We pray
families.
every morning before we start our day. This is real.
I feel like this is that spiritual maturity, just knowing who you need in your life when you're at that, at that place with God. Like,
And I told her this the other day. I'm like, life is hard and it's never gonna be perfect. But I feel like life with her by my side, it just makes it so much easier.
Oh my God.
Just her saying, like, I feel you, sis. It could literally be all going downhill together. But just her telling me, like, I feel you, sis. I'm going through something similar, or I got your back. It makes things so much easier. So.
Man, look at that. That is so beautiful.
Oh my God, we were trying not to cry.
I was trying not to, but
it's real.
Again, it's
Real feelings come out.
real.
That's right. We're just going to be real.
I was a little nervous sharing that with the world because I know that eventually people, are going to see this. But I feel like, why would you want to keep what it is that God can provide you when you open your heart to Him like that?
Right.
Why would you not want, like you said, we live in a world that's very hopeless.
Right.
That's very depressed. That's very angry and bitter. And they don't believe that could ever happen for them. So again, when we created that page, it was one of those things like to show people, it comes across your mind sometimes that maybe people think you don't have the right intentions with certain things, because I could only imagine that maybe some of the people in our past would think, oh, they're just bragging about that, they want to rub it in people's face. No, we were so overjoyed about this. We want other people to know what this feels like.
And it's so crazy what you said to me the other day. It's like, you go hard for my business like if it's your own.
No, she really
and
does.
I legit told her, I was like, it is.
We do the same
because it's like, if you win, I win. We all in this together.
Yep.
And that's a true sisterhood for sure. So and I mean,
we got to learn something from these two.
Also, though, one last thing. We're not always right about stuff, and we are not always level-headed.
Oh, no.
We do not entertain each other's foolishness.
No.
She will check me, and I will check her.
I just checked her yesterday, and I'm like, and she's like, okay, I guess I was wrong. And I'm like, no.
I said,
She's like, do I sound delusional? And I'm like, yeah, a little bit.
That's amazing.
And you know what I said? This is why I asked you before I reacted.
Yeah, no, for real.
Because we literally go to each other like, help me cool down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Help me think from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And I feel like we all need people in our life.
That's
like
a true friendship. Because if I'm just here cheering you on and you're, no, I would never do that.
No,
I'm a true friend, and I would never let you be.
Where we're like, no. And none of us took offense to it. It was like, okay, let me think about this. You could be like, oh, why is she trying to tell me what to do? Or why, no, it's like,
we have a whole meeting. It's so crazy. Even me, like my content, I run it through her. At times when I question certain things, we have a whole freaking meeting.
Yeah.
We just had one like not too long ago, and it was like a 45-minute talk until we were like, okay, let's do it. And it's like, I don't know. Like, it's just like, for me, I just feel like it's nice to have someone that, wants the best for you. And it's always going to give you the best advice. Yep. It's never going to be coming from a, envy way or anything like that. She always going to keep it 100 and always wants me to do my best, and represent myself the best way. Yeah. And that's really important.
I got to say, like, we got to take so many notes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, these two display a level of maturity, you know what I mean? Just to be able to like, I know a lot of girls out there. If you tell them that they're being delusional,
they about to fight you.
You're right.
You know what I mean? It's done.
We got our delusionals moments.
Oh no, we say some things to each other, but it's all healthy and good intention.
Yeah.
So just you guys being able to like dish that out to each other is like a whole. It shows like so much maturity, so much maturity. Like, people need to understand the word maturity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that shit is crazy. And I want like there's so many I want to find a represent I want to represent what you guys are doing. The fact that you guys are having meetings
Yeah.
to like help each other grow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? As people,
Mm-hmm.
all we have is each other.
Right.
We have God. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But like a lot of the times, like
Fellowship
right.
is important, though.
I'm gonna share a little bit now.
Yes.
Like my faith would not be as strong
Mm-hmm.
if it weren't for those around me who openly express their faith.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Same.
It's been like a domino effect. You know what I mean? When you put a fire next to a fire, the fire grows bigger.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? My faith was not as big as it was, as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's unfortunately I need to have like things in this world to gain, that faith, which is beyond this world.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I really cherish those friendships. But I also want to mention that, if we don't have, like, you guys found each other, you mentioned 36 currently.
See, I'm 36.
And I'm 34.
Right. That's right. So 3 years ago when you guys met,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Around there.
There are some people out in this world, they don't have really, I know for me, a lot of my friends have let me down.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, I have lost so many friends through the years,
Mm-hmm.
and, God is so real, because I have found people in my life, like now, I'm 28 now,
Mm-hmm.
and they just so happen to also believe in God, like, to their core.
That's so important. Oh my God.
It's
You know?
important.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if you're out here right now and you don't really have too many friends,
Mhm.
and you're like 22, even 50, you know what I mean? You never really know. But also, there's something else I want to throw in, which is a little dark. So it's a little dark.
Okay.
So maybe I feel like bad, like talking about this now, but damn, this sounds so crazy. I don't want to take it away from God. Like, God is giving us relationships,
Mm-hmm.
that are really nourishing for the soul. And I
Mhm.
have, like, as you guys mentioned, you don't have your mother. I don't have my father, but I do have my mom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I still have, like, people in my life
Mm-hmm.
who have shown me love.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Who have allowed me to fan the fuels of believing myself, of having faith. You know what I mean? I do have people who have fueled me, but I've lost a lot of people too. But there's, like, something in me that, like, I'm so used to losing people.
Mm.
And that's where we were.
Yeah.
You know?
We get
That's where we
numb. Like, oh my God, we could relate to you 1,000%. It became the norm that is almost like, okay, we will go hard with these people. It's like, oh, there goes another one.
Right.
And we could become so numb. And the reason why is
Yeah.
because the people, your relatives, those are the people that have your blood. And, it happened that sometimes you had to disconnect from them people. What is friends going to mean to you?
Exactly.
It's kind of like you become so numb.
It's easier to become,
Yeah.
like detached.
We literally,
from-
when we met, we were going through that thing. It's like, there goes another one. From going to having a relationship with someone to having no relationship the next day, it is not the norm, but it became the norm,
Right.
With what you said, are you basically saying that
You have no attachments.
you have no, like, you can't foresee that in the future for yourself?
No, I'm saying, like, I mean,
Or-
I know that I love my mother.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
have family members that I deeply love.
But when it comes to friendships, do you think you're not capable
haven't-
of building that again with
Yeah.
someone? Or
I mean, I do, but, like, I know that people have busy lives. Like, I don't have any friends who, like, we can have, like, team meetings about how I'm
Okay.
going to grow my business.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, we have, like, conversations and we spit back and forth, but it's never, like, truly a dedicated time
Yeah.
where, like, we're really, like,
that
And
just came
That
about. So
came
this is new.
I feel like it's you taking the initiative.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like because
we weren't
come on.
praying this whole
we have
time in
a
our
business,
friendship
we got
together,
multiple kids, we got a whole lot of.
We were still
But
trying
I
to
feel
figure out
I
our
feel
schedules.
like even like you taking the initiative, because it could be like one of your friends probably, wants the same thing but doesn't bring it up. So it's all about you taking the initiative. I feel like it just happened recently that we're like, okay, we're constantly talking throughout the day, but I'm like, let's change how we start our day. Let's pray over our day.
we were spending more time venting about what wasn't right.
Instead of me listening to her about like things that are going wrong, I'm like, let me think of solutions for her. How about we do this? So it just became a thing, with time. So I feel like you got to be the example, and then they will, you be the lead, and they will follow. So I feel like that's what it is with us.
That's with most things in life.
With most things, I feel like don't say there's no time. There's always time.
Right.
There's always time.
Well, you're going to make time for what you feel
exactly.
is
And I feel like 10 minutes of your life is fine. We do that in the bathroom. I mean, like, let's be real. Like, so I feel like it's about you taking the initiative and, leading your friends. Oh, I want to pray over your business, or I want to advise you or give you, some sort of suggestions that you could change and see if this works out better.
Right.
And, they will see. And for me, when I see Janira going hard, it's like, it's not even like about let's compete, like who's the better friend. But I mean, if we're on that, we're going to be amazing friends because it will be back to back. But it's more like, oh my God, like, I should think more, like, let me take the time and be like, oh, Janira, you should start doing this and promoting this that I haven't seen it in your stories. Like, just like the world is viewing what she's doing, yes. I'm her friend and I view what she's doing and I actually know her in a deeper level. Why would I not give her the honest feedback? Right. Me pretending like as a client and, oh my God, I would love to see this. Show me more about your nutrition course. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit more about this. So I feel like, if I go hard for strangers, why would I not go hard for my bestie? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
So.
Yeah, no. So like, I'm like, there's so much shit I want to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, first and foremost, like, you guys are both people who grow. You know what I mean? You dedicate your life on growing. You know what I mean? So you're in the craft of just bettering yourself and bettering others. So just by chiming in on each other, you guys automatically grow more.
Exactly.
As, with yourself, because you guys are both on that path of learning and growing. So when you actually open an ear up to, to your friend, you learn. Exactly. You know what I mean? And you thus become better. You just keep on building. Yes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which is literally what we should look for in all of our relationships.
Right.
And as I mentioned, like when we lose relationships, we lose people throughout our lives. You know what I mean? Luckily, through our disciplines, through whatever it is, we always gave credit to God. You know what I mean? We never lost our faith and we put God first. And then thus, God introduces people into our lives or just gives us access to certain conversations that we need to have, even if it's with a stranger. Like sometimes you need to have these certain conversations.
I have the most amazing conversations with strangers. I love it. It's literally, there was many moments that I had with, my clientele and stuff like that, but there was this specific woman that came to me and looked at me, and it was so emotional because she's like, oh my God, you literally give me life. Like, she's like, just a few hours ago, like I was even considering if I could take my life or not. And I was just like looking at her, I'm like, I can't believe it. Just me smiling at her and just telling her she looks beautiful. She was just like, you really changed my life. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, I just said hello. You never know what people are going through. Just a smile. I hug people all the time, even through COVID. I'm wild. I got COVID 3 times, but luckily I'm still here. But I never hesitated once because you never know. You never know. So for me, I just felt like, I don't know, I just randomly, if I feel it in my heart, I'm hugging you. You could think I'm a weirdo. I don't care. But if I feel it in my heart that, I have to be extra energetic and extra with you, I'm going to do that because I feel like you need it. And it is just so wonderful. I really do love when I have interactions like that. I just go back home and I'm like, I did what I needed to do, the fulfillment, that I was missing.
See, you're someone I get, like, you exude self-love, right? Like, you really truly want what's best for you and those around you. You know what I mean? The more that you pour into other people, you know what I mean? The more you pour into yourself.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean? If you hold back words to your brother, you know what I mean? Like, or you hold back words, like, that doesn't sit right with you. You need to let your heart release.
I have to.
If you got it, you got to give it.
Yeah.
You know?
For me, I had a hard time working in a environment that it was so negative. I felt like I couldn't be my full self.
Right.
I couldn't like,
because it disturbs.
yeah,
those
it
type
was
of people
almost
that are
like
in that
it was
negative space.
supposed to be like everybody miserable. It was supposed to be like, you're not supposed to make people happy, and people are gonna be upset. Like, that's okay. For me, I just felt like that was when I was really hitting, because I was going against to who I was, you know. And I didn't feel like there was like, I was, you know, feeling that purpose, you know. I'm like, there's something that, you know, God assigned me to do something, and this is not it.
Right.
So that was when my depression was. And when I found that, it was almost like, I don't do drugs, but it was almost like a high that I couldn't get enough of, you know. I'm like, I can't wait to go to work. And for me, it's genuine. I don't just put on a persona. Like, I legit, when I'm telling you look good, like, I mean that.
Right.
And I want you to walk out of here like you're that girl. Like, you had a baby, but you're still that girl, you know. Like, your body might not be where you want it to be, but we're gonna figure out ways that you can, you know, show what you really love. Like, if you love the legs, we're gonna show the legs. I always listen to my my customers, and I let them know there's beauty to everything. So
Right.
we're not always, as women, we so hard on ourselves. It's like, oh, I want curly hair, but I got straight, you know. Like, I want a bigger booty, but I got bigger breasts. So it's always seeing the beauty of what we have, and you can make it work. Trust me.
Trust her.
And believe it or not, girls, guys don't care as much as we do. They
true.
really don't.
That's true.
So I just really do love what I do. And sometimes, you know, I get, you know, I get carry on, and I'd be like, oh my God, like, I'm too overwhelmed. But just the thought of not being in the field that I'm in, I'm like, I'm gonna be depressed, you know. Like, me not waking up every day and like changing somebody's confidence and hyping them up and giving them, my energy is so high that I'm here on this earth to share it. So if I don't share it, like, what am I doing?
Right.
You know? So for me, I'm just like so grateful every day, even on the down times. Like, I am in the right field and in the right path, and I just got to trust God every day.
Right.
So.
Right. Yo, life is truly like so many ups and downs. You know what I mean? To get you to where you are.
It's a roller coaster.
Like, honestly, there's nothing more fulfilling than like giving somebody the keys to operate their life a little bit, or just like be better. You know what I mean? And some people lose sight of that. They feel like if they give too much to people, that makes them weak.
Right.
But I think, like, when you give to people, it's best if you don't expect any type of reciprocity. You know what I mean? Like, you give because it makes you feel good. You know what I mean? Like, even if somebody hates you, you know what I mean? Like, because you could really give to somebody, and they not realize what you've given them. And it takes maybe, like, people, we have multiple layers to our mind. You know what I mean? Conscious, subconscious, and sometimes they heard you, but, you know, they didn't really hear you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it takes maybe 3 months, 3 years, 5 years, who knows, until they actually like feel like, and even then they may not like give it credit to you. You know what I mean? It could just been sitting in their mind. I heard that somewhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so, but there's nothing more fulfilling than that. You know what I mean? And just like seeing like like the way that you will adjust your energy. Like, I want to go back to the apostles. You know what I mean? They met people and they had conversations as those people were, right? So you adjusting your like your attitude or something to fit somebody's, like, that's like what you're supposed to do. And it also shows a level of humility. You know what I mean? Because you're not afraid, I'm not saying you are, to look like a fool if you need to.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, same here. If I look like a fool, but I make you feel better.
Right.
Like, why do I care if you give me credit for that?
Right.
Why do I care if you hate me after that?
Right.
You know what I mean? I did what I needed to do.
My intentions were not to get, you know, anything in return. I did my part. Literally. You do whatever you want with that fart. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Exactly.
No, I feel that. You know how many times they ignore me? Hi, how you doing? Welcome. They ignore me.
Who cares?
I did what I needed to do. I give you my energy, and you receive it whenever you want to receive it. Maybe it's the 5th time you come to K-Barbs. I don't care.
But also, too, like, sometimes people are so closed off that they're afraid to like show how they actually feel.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they could actually be like, I can make them feel so good, but they're like, hey, fuck you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because they feel like they gotta be
yeah.
in that. You know what I mean?
So I actually wanted to mention
yes.
something.
Oh my God, I know.
There's a different perspective to this too. I don't want to kill the vibe, but
No, you're not. What you mean?
well, you remember how you said you were going in a different direction with your convo earlier?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it back to that later. Or
Yeah.
unless you're touching it. But.
So, being that type of person also comes with a lot of struggles, because it also is a big threat to people at times. Not everyone is going to receive it the way that you, you put it out.
Right.
You want them to feel good.
Perfect
And
transition. Let's work this.
you'd be surprised the amount of people that are disturbed by your positive energy and your love and you trying to speak life into them.
Right.
It could be a few different things, you know, at what place they are in their lives, how they feel about themselves. But we also experience, and I want to talk about this because it's very important. It does feel good to do that. But it also can be very discouraging and hurtful to see that there are also a lot of people who hate you for it.
Yeah, it is what it is. That's what I said.
So,
that was like
but
closed off
it
answer.
takes time to get there, right? Because for someone like me, it is what it is in the beginning. I'm very much used to be a person that was so attached to the idea of, I didn't intend it that way. Why would you feel that way? Why would you, I've never done anything to you. But you have to understand sometimes that good energy, that high energy, God's love, and everything you're trying to put out, very much disturbs certain souls.
That part, I was just gonna say that we have felt it together, going to just like the most basic places, like going to a gym, and we do our best. we do our best to not do the most. We even go to like the private women's area, and even like us walking in, we immediately get dead stares. Like, it's almost like, oh my God, what did I sleep with your husband or something? I don't even know you. It's just one of those looks.
It's deep like that.
Like, it's so deep. And then me and Janira are like, oh my God, do you know her?
You know, I think we bring this high energy. And again, going back to women always preach about they love on each other. No, I think most women are already, they have a guard up, already assuming the worst.
Yeah.
So when they see that actually makes some people uncomfortable, because they're like, what is this? Like, this is not the norm to see, like, two, you know, just women being so happy, and they want to share that and make you feel it too. And so it's interesting because we talk about all the highlights and the joys and the things that it brings. It does. It also brings problems sometimes.
It affects me, especially at times that I'm like, oh my God, you know, I was like so cool and I try to involve everyone, and then the outcome was completely different. And I feel like when we got together as friends, it was a lot of people that took me or took her the wrong way.
There's actually a lot of people that are bothered by our friendship.
Just by my presence. And it's so weird to me, but it is not for me to understand. So the moment I let God handle it, I was just be like, okay, that's fine. But it bothered me at the beginning because I couldn't really understand. I'm like, oh my God, but I was so sweet, but I had this, and you know, I hugged them, and then it's like, no,
you have all good intentions.
There's no, it could literally be your assistance, and it doesn't have nothing to do with you. It's within themselves, and that I can't control.
Yep.
So I had to really be comfortable and okay with not everybody's gonna like you. Not everybody's gonna receive your good energy. Yeah.
Even when you mean well, they're still not.
I had to really, that was hard on me for a while, right? And she could tell you that. But it got to the point that I'm
and
like.
that's what I meant. I struggled with that too.
Yeah.
I would beat myself up thinking, did I say that the wrong way? Yeah. Did I not do enough? And she knows I'm an overthinker on considering other people.
She is so much to the point that I'm like, Janira, you're fine.
I'm like, well, what if I did this? And then what if she takes it that way? Because we just had this conversation last week, and it kind of conflicts with what I'm doing right now. Like, because I'm so on a mission of making sure that I'm mindful of the people around me and how they feel. But then I came to a realization in life that no matter what, and we talked about this earlier, no matter what your intentions are, and you can come from such a good place, you could be praying for somebody and they could still think that you're coming for them in the wrong way, or they could be receiving what you're intending in a totally different way, interpreting it in a totally different way, and we have no control over that.
Right.
You can't win everybody over, and you can't expect everyone to receive it, exactly as you felt you put it out.
Right. The way I see it is that everything is a test to get us closer to God.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
Yeah.
So like for me, when I, through like that loss of friendships, just like it's a different perspective, like I've learned to always put God first. So even if the relationships I have built now, which I am very grateful for, even if, like again, you never know what could happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
Like, even if they do fall off, it's irrelevant to me. God
you
comes
know you were
first.
solid too.
Yeah.
And you know you were solid on your end.
But not even
me,
just that.
yeah.
Like, all I need is God.
Yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
No matter how
Right.
much, no matter how beautiful relationship, it
Yeah.
will never come before God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No matter how much
This is true.
they help me, no matter how much I find encouragement in them, I must have a connection with
God.
With God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm living my life. I have to make my decisions. I'm the one who has to resist temptation. I'm the one
Yeah.
who needs to have that relationship.
Yeah.
No matter how good a relationship is, they'll never make my decisions.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm the one who makes the decisions. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I always need to be like, that's where my main focus is.
It's true.
Right.
That's good.
You know?
And
So-
also, I do believe that God placed people in your life in the times of need. So even if I was just a friend
And
or
it could also be
someone,
temporary.
yeah, and like if I was that person that you needed in that season, and I did what I needed to do as a friend, and helped you through whatever you were going through, and now we're not friends, I'm okay with that, because if God put me in that place at the right time, and I did what I needed to do, and I gave what I needed to give, I'm okay with that. I could sleep at night as long as I'm. For me, I just focus more now on how I am as a friend, as a overall human being. I'm far from being perfect. I feel like even the other day we mentioned something like, okay, we're being girls. We could be girls sometimes. It's like, no, we need to stop doing these specific things and really like pray more. We gotta acknowledge, when we are falling off
wrongdoing,
overall as human beings. So I feel like for me, as long as I'm doing the right things, by everyone, my customers, my family, my children, and my friends,
You're
I'm okay with
satisfied
that.
with
Right.
It could be like, our season is up, and that's
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm literally so grateful for like every experience that I've had in my life.
Me too.
Me too.
Like I've
The
had
good and the bad, right?
Right.
I've had like
Mm,
loving
good and bad.
relationships. Like for me, I've had a loving parent and a very evil parent. You know what I mean? So like,
It's
I'm so
powerful.
grateful. You know what I mean? Because I know that I have some experience. I have like experience that some people may not have. Like even just having a little bit of love is so big.
You're so blessed. God knew you needed that mom love. Because imagine,
Yeah.
So you're so blessed.
Yeah.
But I can see the work that
I
God has
always say
done in
that,
you.
yeah.
That's awesome. The way you speak and the way you're just so certain of where you stand, who you are. And I want to go back to the part where you said we're talking so much about relationships with people, and you're right. None of us are exempt that something could go wrong.
Right.
That
Right.
someone walks away, that
Right.
someone makes a decision that you
Right.
just can't come back from, right? But it is important to know that even if all of this, even us right here,
Yeah.
if we don't have that anymore, that we do have a solid relationship with God.
Right.
He's the only one that's going to
Yeah.
be left standing in the end.
Right.
Everything here on this earth is loaned to us.
Right.
It's
Right.
borrowed. We can't set our heart on those things and fully be reliant on it because it might not always be there.
Right.
But he will. So I like that you said that because
Right.
people come and go.
Right.
Situations happen. You may think it'll never happen to you again, and it could.
Exactly.
But
That's the way I see it.
at least you didn't. So for me, at least I didn't spend. God forbid, right, that her and I don't end up being friends ever again for whatever reason.
I would just go to heaven. That's the only time
Yo.
if I go to heaven.
Stop.
But I'm just
Stop.
saying. But I know what you're saying.
God forbid that happened, right? I can't really.
That was
listen.
dramatic. I'm the dramatic friend.
She is. God forbid that ever happened. like she was saying, there's no regret there. At
Right.
least we were
We
able.
gave our
At
all.
least we didn't shut our hearts and our souls and everything
Literally.
away to never experiencing this moment.
Right.
Because it's better to have lived it and learned and
Right.
experienced it, and then if you don't have it anymore, it's okay. But you didn't not know what it was to have it,
Right.
Right.
or locked yourself away from the world and prevented yourself from those blessings.
Right.
Right. That's why I think
In relationships.
people who believe in God have a level of fulfillment, like access to them, than others, you know, who don't believe.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
You know,
I agree.
have. Because as I mentioned, I believe when you truly give your whole heart and soul to like nourishing this, you know, God's children, God's world, you know, like just being fully filled with love.
Yep.
When you give your whole heart and soul to love, you know you're living in a greater purpose. And even if people let you down,
Yep.
that's not going to let you down.
No.
Because you already know you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be
Yeah,
doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So people can treat you like garbage.
Right.
But it doesn't flipping matter.
No. That's on them. You talk to God about that.
But also, God is using some of us to give someone a piece of something they may never have experienced. Maybe
I
they're
always
not
try-
receiving that love
like-
from other people, and you were the only one that gave
Like,
it to
right,
them.
Janita, I'm always like thinking of like a different perspective. Like, I'm like,
No,
and even
seriously.
today, like you mentioned something that you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna see it as this, and I'm like, look at it as a bigger picture. There's the reason why this time is not working how you want to. There's something bigger. You know,
And that the situation is temporary.
exactly.
Stop getting
Yeah.
fixated on the I don't have what I want.
One thing
now,
about
but-
life, things are temporary.
Yes.
We're not like
Everything.
we can't even look like this for the rest of our life. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna get old. Like, let's be realistic. Like, we're on this earth, and one day we're gonna go with God. So
Our health is not going to be the same.
if you really like, you know what, bills are gonna be as long as we're here on earth. So
Right.
we're gonna stress over bills. We're gonna stress over friendships. We're gonna stress, you know, like, I feel like it's really all about perspective and how you handle things.
Yeah.
Right.
And the moment that you really like just chill about a lot of things, you just chilling. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you
no,
just
I hear it.
yeah.
I definitely hear that.
You.
That's
And
so perfect.
As I get older, I'm also starting to cherish more alone time.
Oh.
I feel like when I was younger, I wanted to be where everybody was at. I didn't want to miss anything. I wanted to be seen. And now there's just so much more peace
I love it.
in solitude and just being away from everything.
Right.
And so, as she said, things change.
Yeah.
That's not something that I ever thought I would be like, because I was such a social butterfly. I
Right.
wanted to be out, have fun. And now I'm realizing that all of that stuff doesn't bring me that calmness that I'm looking for at this stage in my life.
Right.
I think that's very important too for people to understand that, to embrace those type of changes too. Just because you're not in the mix of everything doesn't make you irrelevant.
I'm getting so many epiphanies.
Yes. Yeah.
I think
And it's so funny because even like I feel like you know, with you, I always like invite her to everything. Yeah. So if she's
Same.
not
I do the
available,
same
because
thing.
I mean, I'm super understanding. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to the brunch by myself, and I do that.
Yep.
For
She'll go
me,
by
I
herself.
just feel like if I want to do something, I just, you know, I would extend the invitation, but it doesn't mean that we're gonna stop doing it. I
Yeah,
will
it
go.
doesn't mean we're gonna stop
and I
our
love my
lives
alone
because someone
time.
said
I get
no.
in my little tablet and I just get things done. And
Same.
sometimes I do need that alone time because I get distracted very easy.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's very important to love your alone time and have dates with yourself and also have, you know, someone that could be by your side. It's nice to have a balance in life.
Right.
Especially when you're juggling a million things
There are
at the
some
same
days
time.
when we're so busy. We typically talk almost every day, but there are some days.
Fridays we don't. She got meal prep.
Fridays we go, and then Sundays we're at church together.
Yes.
But anyways, no, there are some days where there's silence. We don't question that because
No.
we both know what we both carry.
I'm like, if Janita's
And-
quiet, she's going through something. We'll hear about it.
Or I'm busy.
Oh,
I'm busy.
she's
It's not
going,
necessarily going
no,
through something,
going
but-
through something is like she's doing a million meal
Yes,
preps.
yes. I thought you meant like
No, because we're
which
going
some
through
days
something.
that
We,
is
we
too.
talk about it, but no, she's definitely busy. And when I'm quiet,
And
it's
we
definitely
understand
busy.
it.
Yeah.
We don't really question it. We're just like, hey,
Hey,
friend, are
you
you
good?
okay?
Sometimes I just gotta check on her,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yo, you good? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. Okay, we'll talk later. As long
And then
as
we fill each other in on
yeah,
what
it's
happened.
like just on Monday, you're like, okay, let's fill each other about the
The
weekend because we're
weekends.
busy.
Well, also because we know too that we have other commitments in other relationships too.
Yeah.
kid time, husband time, family time.
Yep. Or
That
even
doesn't
other
involve,
friends.
that doesn't involve each other in all of our family things. So there are times where we go a few days, we're handling family business, and we didn't talk, right? But we like to share, like, what happened for the weekend and stuff like that. But we're very big on the, like, respecting each other when it's like, I have family time right now.
And also, it has to be, also for friendships, it got to be a healthy friendship that that friend has other friends. So I feel like I'm super respectful when she has another best friend, which we adore her.
I love her.
So when she has
That's
her
my
time,
childhood best friend.
yes. So even when she has time with her, you know, I'm respectful. I don't be bothering her or anything. And I feel like that's very important for friendships, because I feel like nowadays it's so like normal to be toxic, even with friendships. It's like, oh, you're hanging out with that chick, like you're supposed to be my friend. It's just so weird out here what they normalize. It's so weird. I'm like, it's so healthy. She could have other friendships.
Twisted love.
Yeah.
I also don't believe that everyone only has one best friend.
No.
There are sometimes you can have multiple relationships that are at that same magnitude.
Yeah, because I feel like
level.
every friendship brings something different.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Humans are complex. Like,
yeah.
There's not one side to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly that part.
Yeah.
I have so many sides to myself.
Yeah. And we're the type of people, like, we encourage each other. I can't make it, but go have fun with your friends.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't ever look at the people that, you know, she hangs out with or is very close with.
That's when I knew it was
in a
healthy, because I never had a friendship that they don't mention, like, oh my God, you're hanging out. Like, Janira be minding her own business and she loves everybody. I even involve her. Like, if I'm hanging out, I can't help myself but be like, Janira, you should come with us. Because I know she's that type of girl that she could, like, hang with anybody. You know, she's not that type of friend that I'll be like, oh my God, I'll be scared because this person's a little bit different. She's so welcoming to everyone. So I feel like she could be invited to everybody's cookout, you know? So, you know, that's.
If you have one coming. No. It's cold invited now, but next summer.
Yeah, she loves to eat. Even though she's a fitness, she eats healthy for the most part, but she loves eating and not skipping her meals.
No, I like my cheat meals. I do. That's what I work hard for.
Yes, but yeah, I just feel like people got to stop normalizing toxic friendships and relationships. That's not cute. That's not. Like, it should not even be trendy.
It's definitely relatable, but it shouldn't be encouraged.
No.
It shouldn't be
I feel like people don't really like talk more about the healthy friendships and the healthy relationships as much as the, you know, even like having a podcast is, I see more podcasts that they talk about toxic relationships more than healthy. And I think
there's a tactic behind that.
Yeah, of course.
It grabs more
Negativity
attention.
sticks.
It does, because people could
love the drama.
but people could relate to it. But it's like, come on, like, there is healthy relationship.
But do you notice though, we all can relate to joy and healthy things as well.
Right.
But for some reason, people gravitate more to the negativity.
Right.
But that's what we're bombarded with. That's what we're surrounded with. That's what people think is normal. That's what
I'm saying. People got to stop normalizing.
Some people actually think that's cool.
Yeah.
As corny as that sounds. Yeah. Some people think that's like the in crowd. I want to be with the bad people.
It's almost like, for me, I feel like in like maybe 10 years ago, if I had a friendship, if you're not like fighting like to be my only friend, like, you're not really my friend. That's what they used to, like, you know. And I'm like, that is so sick, because I had those type of friendships. And I'm like, that's really immaturity as well, you know, because it's like, I'm not worried about who Janita's friends with, because I know how I am as a friend.
But we also know that doesn't change our friendship.
Exactly.
Even if, just like she said, I have a best friend too that, like, I adore absolutely, like, she's my everything. But there's no comparing there. Mm-hmm. They're both held at a high, you know. I hold them both on a pedestal and I adore them both, but there would be no, like, if either of them were to feel some type of way, I would feel like there's a problem there. And they've never, ever made me feel that way. And they both know that what I have with both of them, it's solid and nothing will change that.
You know what's so crazy?
No matter how much closer I get with anyone, even if I develop another friendship with another female in the future, it's just not going to change anything.
Right. I feel like is the question that I get the most. You probably get, how do you get to balance it all? And my only response is God, because it's like thinking of like, how do you have a business and you deal with, you know, you have to not only that you train these women, there's a relationship there, you know, because you can't just say, oh, do a few squats and you're good. Like there's a deeper connection that you deal with on a regular basis. And on top of that, you have your daughters and you have your husband, and then you have 2 friendships plus more, you know, like, so it's like, how do we juggle all that? And it's truly God. And we find time for the Lord.
I will say that I didn't have a good balance in the beginning. I don't know if you.
Oh no, I feel like I talked about another with another friend of mine. So I talked to her about, I feel like there's times and seasons that you gotta pour more into something, and then the other part will lack a little bit.
Yes,
because we're
true.
humans.
You can't equally.
I feel like
into
if I
everything.
just pour into K bars, I will literally lose myself.
Yeah, you're
if that makes sense.
everything else,
So
yeah.
if you see me out here in in Bali, Indonesia, on an elephant, I'm pouring into myself, and K bars is on pending, and I'll come back and I go hard for K bars. But it's like there's times that I'm like, I'm just fully mom. Like I'm a mom every day, but I'm saying like, you know, I'm closing K bars early. I'm gonna go to every football game. You know, like there's times that you pour into something more than the other, because you could only, as a human being, do so much.
Yeah, and try to make everybody happy. You can't do that.
Exactly.
But you can pour little bits into each thing.
Yeah.
And find that balance.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And it's important to pour into yourself, because without you being sane and pouring into yourself, you can't pour into other people.
Yeah.
So it's wild,
Right.
but we get to do it.
Right. I was just like thinking, I was like having an epiphany earlier when you were talking about like all this energy you had when you were younger, and then kind of now being a little bit more focused.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I feel like there are those, remember, God disciplines those he loves, and he loves everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We all get disciplined. Some people just are the elect. You know what I mean? If I feel like you guys are kind of falling in that category a bit. You know, like those who are elect. You know what I mean? They have, and I feel like those who are elect would symbolize and exemplify a significant amount of love. You know what I mean? A lot of love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I know it takes time to refine that. It takes time to actually understand your power,
Yeah.
understand who you are and what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know,
That's so important that you say that, understanding your power, because for so long I couldn't understand what that power was. And understanding that is literally a game changer.
it took discipline.
Mm-hmm.
It took hardship, what we would quote unquote
Yeah.
hardship. It's one of our best lessons.
Right.
It is.
Like the difficult stuff, that's what you want.
Right.
Like I remember, you just ask for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like test who your character is. Let's go through it.
Right.
Let's experience life a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but like, you know, it takes time to refine. And like when you were a kid mentioning like you're giving all that energy, that's that love. You know what I mean? Like love, I want to give love, I want to give love,
Yeah.
I want to give love, I want to give love. It's not honed in.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you get that time, take that time, that discipline, now you have those intimate connections, you go deeper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You give more
Pour
in
into
a
more,
different
yeah.
way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like now it's kind of honed
Yeah.
to like now you're like really nourishing people on a much fundamental level.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I
That's
mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way I was seeing it.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, God is absolutely everything.
Mm.
And
He really is.
if the world hates you, do not worry, for they hated me first. And never to lose your saltiness ever. We are the salt of the world. Preaching God, being loving, the world will always try to stop you from doing that type of stuff.
That's exactly
They're
it.
always going to try to stop you.
Yes.
And if you stop yourself, you lost your saltiness.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't lose your saltiness. You got to keep
Mhm.
on giving to God. If the worst happens to us, let it be.
Let it be.
Our rewards will be great. Like, what is this world? If we die, like, if we have faith, we're going to a place where we never have to experience the sadness we ever
Ever
experience.
Mm.
Ever
And
again.
everyone's going to know each
Paradise.
other. Like, you can go down the street and be like, yo, what's good? And they know you. And they're not going to be like, yo, what are you doing? Stop talking to me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Nothing is going to be what it is here.
Right.
Right.
Everything's just going to flow. Peace.
So I'm ready for that.
Love.
I'm ready.
You know? Right? So
Yeah.
Same.
that's pretty much the 2 cents. I think we covered a lot today.
We did.
Right?
We did.
I think what we need to do, there's some, like
You might have multiple episodes in this.
I think we'll have to.
Right. That was
You
a
might be able to
lot.
break some pieces
Damn.
Yeah, no, we definitely got to give some wisdom to these youngins. I know girls will look up to other girls who are, you know, exuding confidence, being bosses, helping other people. You know what I mean? Like, I know girls look up to you guys. Like, I see your like your social medias. I see the comments. I see people reposting your stuff. Like,
I hope so.
these girls, you like, even if they don't, like, you know, you're doing, you know they do.
Yeah, but I hope so in the sense of like I hope that I am contributing in some type of way because that's my intention.
You are.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell you right now from sitting here with this conversation, I have taken something from it.
Right.
Keren takes stuff from
Every
it.
day
You know
I
what
take
mean? Like,
something from her.
You're touching two people right here. Like, if that's all you ever touch in the rest of your life, like,
Girl, you did your
Good-
job.
good
you're
stuff.
doing it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You have influence. Just like she said hello, and it switched somebody's day up. Just saying hello
Hello.
has power we don't even know.
Just acknowledging them.
Yeah.
We all have that
Just
power
acknowledging them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to just say hello to somebody, acknowledge someone, show a little bit of love, and we have no idea. It's like the mustard seeds.
What do you
Not
do
the mustard
every
seeds.
day, even
Carolina seed.
cooking, you know, healthy meals? You care so much about people's health. That alone, like, there's so many careers that you
know
could have
that brings
chose.
me joy though,
Like,
to know
yes.
that I'm feeding something to someone that's gonna make them better and
Yeah.
not harm them.
Yeah.
Or set them
That
back
alone.
or depress them. Like that's
Yeah.
when it gets unbearable. That's what keeps me going.
Yeah.
Because when my load gets big,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how am I gonna do all this? This is a lot.
Yeah, you
but
know,
it's
like-
that idea of like, yo, you're changing somebody's life. You're helping
feeling
them.
like
It may look like one little piece, but it's a piece to
like
the puzzle.
they're eating
You're
part of
contributing.
you, and no, that sounds weird, but you know, like with your love, you're cooking with your love, and when they eat, like that's part of you. That's wild if you really
It's a
think
part
about
of
it.
my- yeah.
Yeah. So that alone.
I want to mention one more thing. How important it is, right? We sometimes believe, we sometimes give ourselves the credit of how we are and what we're doing. But the truth is, we have to give credit to God working through us. Because sometimes the
Yes,
things
right.
that we're saying and doing to help other
We don't
people is not
comprehend it.
us.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even us. It might not even be coming from us.
Right.
We could be doing it on a day we're having a terrible day.
Right.
You may
Right.
have not been thinking in your mind, I want to, but when you are so open with God and you're asking Him to use you, sometimes He's using you, you don't even realize it.
Right.
Right.
But you have to be open to that.
That's why you got to be grateful for every little
Right.
moment, because even in our bad, even when we're messing up, you know what I mean? You want to quote it, messing up,
Yep.
like, we could be helping people more than they know,
Right.
based off of our bad behavior.
Right.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
our transparency, being able to be open about that and not pretend.
Right.
Sometimes, we are ashamed or we want to mask certain things, but if you keep it real, you'd help more people than you
Right.
can understand, than
That's
what
why we
need.
actually like when you reach out to me, which I want to say I am so grateful.
We're honored to be here.
Honored. So
Yeah,
thank you so
I'm
much
honored to
for
have you guys here. This
yeah.
is great.
For me, I thought to myself, I've been feeling, for a while that there's even a bigger purpose. I feel like I do
Than
a
what we
lot.
do for
Yeah,
work.
yeah, for sure. I feel like there's more
Beyond
to
that.
us, and I feel like social media is just a percentage of who we are.
We spend
I
most of our time selling our brand, right?
yeah.
But
So
people
it's
don't really get to experience.
They don't get to really like feel us, or like they get to probably feel you a little bit more because she's
I'm
a
a
little
little
bit
more of a
more
talker,
expressive.
yeah.
For me, it's like I create content. I throw out a bomb picture, and that's pretty much as I do more. But when it comes to them really feeling and understanding my heart, I never really put myself out there like that. So I felt like it was necessary for me to accept this amazing invitation, because I feel like there's a bigger purpose besides what I do for K-Bars and for my clients.
And you're giving us that opportunity.
Yeah, so I am so
Very
thankful.
grateful.
Yeah, for
No,
sure.
everything that I'm doing, I like to believe that it's to try to get people into the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know that sounds crazy.
No, it don't sound crazy to us.
You know?
Can I tell you that even the more you've opened up, the more confirmation I got that I was supposed to be here and
Yeah.
that I made the right decision.
Yeah.
Because
We skipped training for this. That's huge.
I was so I already got a good vibe from you, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you can get good vibes from people and they not have that relationship with God, and that's okay, right? Everyone has their own opinion, their own beliefs. But the fact that now I was able to experience on a deeper level who you are gave me more confirmation that this is the platform where we should be opening up to expressing ourselves and sharing this, because, you know, like-minded people coming together, that's important.
Right.
We can't be being interviewed and on a platform where it goes totally against what our beliefs are, because that would limit what I feel like I could put out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like this very moment, just like every other moment, this was part of God's plan.
Right.
To bring us together. It's very, it's deep, and I appreciate it, and I have no regrets.
Let's go.
Me neither. No Look at
No
him.
regrets.
Let's go.
No regrets.
I love it. No regrets.
Yeah. This was
necessary.
The real deal.
This was what we wanted. This is what we've been praying for.
We wanted to know. We prayed before we came here.
Yeah.
Not today. The other day.
Yeah.
When you presented this to her.
Yeah.
And we said, Lord, it is going to happen if you believe that this has to happen, and it's going to be for your good, and we're going to be spreading your word.
That's right.
Yeah. And here we are.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have allowed it to happen, because I asked him to make sure it didn't happen if it wasn't aligned with what we needed to put out there.
Right.
And there was trials and tribulations, like I said, but we weren't going to stop this.
The enemy attacked me today. I almost didn't.
Like real hard. She still trained her clients. She still showed up.
And I said, I know exactly, back to what we were saying earlier, I know exactly what's happening right now.
Right.
You don't want us to spread the goodness of God.
But,
and I'm talking to the enemy.
Exactly.
Let's get it.
You were trying to stop me. And because I know you're trying to stop me, I want to do it even more.
Exactly.
So a lot of people just remember how we were touching on the love part and the fear part. How people kind of like, you know, we don't really talk too much about the fear part. We are supposed to fear God, and it literally says, those who fear Him are His friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can be friends with God. You know.
Yeah.
So something I want to touch on, and this might sound like pessimistic, it might sound like crazy. I really don't. That's not how I wanted to be. You know what I mean? At all. So, nothing in this world, like everything in this world is dying. So there is nothing in this world that is going to give us fulfillment. You know what I mean? Only God can give us fulfillment.
Yeah.
You know, He's in heaven. That's where our King is. That's where our Lord is.
Yeah.
Right.
So like since I firmly believe in the Bible, I believe Revelations is only going to be coming as time goes on. You know what I mean? We don't know when it will be, you know, but as each day passes, Revelations is getting closer and closer
Things
and closer.
are taking place. Yeah.
And the way I see the world right now, everywhere you turn, there's the enemy. You know what I mean? In
attack after attack.
In the media, in people, but also into this. And this is where it's like you know, pessimistic and stuff. Even in the foods. Like with like the sprays, like, and I'm seeing like the way that these, like what we know as a normal apple or a normal watermelon or normal carrot.
No, I'm being so serious. Yeah.
Has been like spliced and like created to be like what we see it as today. You
Let's
know
talk
what I mean?
about the weather. Like what summer we had.
Bro, it's a game out here.
Like,
is
it gonna snow on Christmas?
You can
I don't
feel
know.
the heaviness.
Oh yeah, we
and
talk about all
this
the time.
greater with time. I don't know if anybody else can relate to that, but you can. I don't know if that's what you're saying, but it's in full.
It's
effect.
evil out here.
Yeah,
like everything. The songs, it's all about sex and
and
cheating,
it's
and all
always
this all garbage.
it's so
you
bad.
know, it's always been there, but it almost feels heightened now.
They're more in our face now.
They've
been building up slowly, slowly.
And it
started with like poetry.
And I know this will be another thing we could talk about. Like this will be another episode of the podcast, but also like it's attacking a lot of people with their mental health.
Yes,
that is just so like
it's
just depression.
It's an easy attack for the enemy, knowing that so many people are battling that.
Yeah.
It's he gets to you purposely first of all in your mind.
Right.
He speaks those negative thoughts. That sometimes you think is your own thoughts. No.
Right.
He's feeding you that.
Yeah.
Just
and that is probably his easiest way to attack you.
To add that in too, like in my childhood, I had a stepfather who would just literally implement evil thoughts, like just like garbage thinking. Even my own father. So I mean, I've been blessed to have it so apparent where like these negative thoughts are not my thoughts.
Right.
These are not my thoughts. You know, and I like most of the time what you'll hear, I follow so many people who are trying to influence others. If you have a negative thought, know that those are not your thoughts.
Yeah. No.
Somebody put those thoughts there.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Just like how sometimes you have dreams that you know you would have never been thinking.
It's so crazy. I barely dream, and when I do, it's just negative thoughts.
Really?
Yeah.
Like negative dreams, and it's
That's
just
where we're attacked most, is in our dreams, actually.
Snap.
yeah.
I have some good ones too. I hear like God talks to you in your dreams also.
Oh yeah, I have. I don't know. I would say, with time, I always ignored it, but I feel like I have a gift even when something really bad is happening within my family. Like if somebody's really sick or they're gonna pass away. Yeah, that happens. I barely dream. When I do is either somewhat it does come a reality or similar to the dream. So it's tough.
Yeah.
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 Well, every day is a test.
Yeah.
Just got to give it a go, no matter the hardship.
And I feel like more than ever now, people really have to understand that if you're not rooted in Him, it's only going to get way harder.
Right.
It's hard as a believer.
Yeah.
Watching all of this and being attacked nonstop, I can only imagine what it is to be lost in this day and age right now. What that feeling is like.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because I remember my days being lost, and they weren't. I know they weren't how it is now.
Right.
Right.
I know they weren't.
I still like some things that people say, and then I can kind of agree with. Is like you still feel like when shit goes south, quote unquote. You still like feel the pressures, but your tolerance for it is just different. You know what I mean? It's not like you don't feel something.
And for me, in my mind, it's almost like, because I have God by my side, it's one side that I'm like, okay, I'm going through hard times. I'm going to cry it out. Let me talk to my friend. Let me just figure out solutions more than, stick and being depressed about the problem. But there's another side. It's like, I should just go drink, but what is drinking going to do? Then it's always that back and forth. Drinking, I'm just going to be drunk. And then the problem will still be there. So I feel like when people don't have God God is always there. If they don't acknowledge
The
God,
temptation is stronger.
yeah, this temptation is stronger, and I could see how people could fall into, either drinking or drugs or making bad decisions or doing harm to others because they're so frustrated with their situation. So even though I haven't really been in that situation, I could really understand how they could fall into that because it will be so simple. It's so hard to really keep yourself with level-headed and really understand, okay, you're being attacked, you just gotta think positive. It's so hard when everything's going wrong. Literally,
I remember being lost and considering doing things that I would never consider now.
Yeah.
Because it was just that easy to fall into that when you just had no.
It's very easy.
Yeah.
You feel like there's no way out.
Because as humans, we're so influenced by our social norms, social dynamics.
Right.
Like we are a social creature. What we are surrounded by, we absorb and we replicate. You know,
Excuse me.
that's why in our souls.
That's my bedtime.
In our souls, right? We should probably wrap it up.
No. We could keep talking.
No,
but
we're supposed to. It's 10:30. This was great though.
This was
Right?
amazing.
I could go into tomorrow, but
Me and her, we
Same.
could talk.
these are the conversations that I want to have.
Yeah.
You know, these every time that we dive into giving glory to God and just understanding human struggles
Right.
and kind of how people maneuver through life. I love when people go through crazy. You know what I mean? I love that because I feel like I connect with people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I
And
feel like that's why we connected so much. And I know we always say, I'm not happy that you're going through it.
We never wish it upon someone, but it feels good to know you're not alone.
Yeah.
You don't ever wish that pain upon somebody.
Because it's
but
it sounds crazy that I wanted her to
feel
have
better
my pain.
that you.
Yeah. We always say it all the time.
You can
I'm not
understand.
happy that you're going through it, but it just, it makes me feel understood, I will say.
From a young age, we're just getting pushed all this negative stuff.
Right.
We're replicating.
Yep.
The sex, we see it on TV, we see all that stuff, we see how those relationships are influencing us. You know, and that's why
hard
it's crazy
right now to raise our kids.
Oh my God, that's
Let
a
me
topic
tell you,
in
that's
itself.
another episode,
Bro.
We need 3 episodes for that.
I want to know what that's like. You know what I mean? Because I have my mentality. I'm not growing up in this time period. I mean, we're still growing always, but that's crazy. Ah,
It is because something so small as a cell phone could be so destructive for our children.
That was
Just
powerful.
having a Wi-Fi period for our children is so destructive.
They live with
When
such
we
a
grew
different
up, we
life
didn't
than
have
us.
the ability or the
We were
access
using
to
our
have. Yeah,
imagination.
and that alone, we were still vulnerable to the world. So imagine now, all you have to the wrong
right at their
person,
fingertips,
yeah,
yeah.
they could literally just harm our children by just allure them to pretending to be a child or something like that, or
Even on the game
them
system.
seeing the wrong things in the
Yep.
phone and just like they could be addicts and we don't even know it. So it's just so much, like, it's just, I pray over our children every day because it's just we can only do so
it's
much.
so much pressure.
It's so much pressure.
More than
that
when
that
we were.
alone gives me everyday anxiety.
teach a child in a way he will not stray from it.
Right.
Just foundation of God. Get him in those circles.
Right.
Get him in
That's
those
true.
rooms.
Taking them to church. and
Real
stuff.
believers.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not no fake believers.
Right.
You know?
That part.
They're still going to go through
that
stuff.
was-
They're
that
still
was
going to be
deep.
influenced, but they're going to know in the end what's the right way.
You got to teach them in it. They shall not depart.
Right.
It's in the word.
Yeah.
So true.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think we need to
This
get
is
you
great.
guys on another episode.
Yes.
This was fantastic, guys. I want you to check on the comments below. Just if there's anything that you want us to talk about,
Yeah.
just leave it down there. I wanna dive deep with these girls. These
Yeah.
guys, they're
We're
bosses.
ready.
But you guys already know that.
Guys, like and share.
So yeah,
We're not
Like,
on YouTube,
share.
right? Thumbs up.
follow the podcast, share it with a friend. If you
Yeah.
gain any type of insight, any type of
Yeah.
value, send this over to somebody who you think could use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so nice sharing our heart. It was truly something from our heart. So I hope you guys
Yes.
appreciate this. Forget the content.
I
This is our
definitely
heart.
did. That was
Thank you
beautiful,
so
guys. I know I'm gonna walk away with a lot more information. Like
Oh.
just even how you guys like have your friendship. Like
Yeah.
it's powerful. I love it. So
Thank you.
I'm grateful, and
I
definitely
love
think
that
that's it.
word, powerful, because I feel it. I feel the power.
Force.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Let's go.
Thank you. Okay. Dear Lord, I want to thank you for all of our lives, for keeping us healthy, safe, and strong, and for leading our path. I want to thank you for this opportunity, Lord, today, and I pray that you please, first of all, bless Tyler for giving us this opportunity, and I pray that you please guide him along the way as well in connecting with all the right people, and that with time he will be very successful with all that he's accomplishing. I thank you for the opportunity for us, and I ask that for me and Keren that you please allow us to speak life and always remember what it is that you want us to put out to the public, and that we represent you correctly, Lord. We represent ourselves correctly, and that this will be just the beginning to so many doors opening, and us being able to reach our community in different ways, and not just with what we offer in services, but also what we offer as people, and connecting with others and showing them a different side to us on a much deeper level. I pray that it helps a lot of people in their journey, and that we will somehow also bring healing through what we speak in our words in this podcast. Just thank you so much, Lord, for this opportunity. Like I said, I just pray that you guide all of our steps in this, and it serves a greater purpose in honor of you, Lord.
Amen.
Amen.